All right, family. Black Power. Black Power is the truth hour with General Sarasun said he kicked back. Get your mind ready for some information that's guaranteed to be heavy. I'm excited and delighted to be accepting members to the Sarasun Seti YouTube page, a dynamic page. Y'all know what it is, Black Power, Black Frequency. If you're feeling that frequency and energy, you should most definitely join the link right down in the video description in the chat. Click that link. You get a video introduction rundown on the memberships, what they entail. You see one you like, you should most definitely join. Even if you don't, I appreciate your presence at the Sarah Seti YouTube page. Continue to engage, continue to advance. That's right, family. Ring the alarm. KingSeti.com online marketplace. Official General Sarah Seti DVD lectures, t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry. We got the natural tonics. We got home decor for the family. We got some for every room in the house. Get over there today. 25% off selected items at this time. Save and shop. Shop and save. That's right, family. Pull the fire alarm. GeneralSeti.com. SETI University. We talking about over 1,500 videos of nothing but pure heat and fire presented by yours truly, General SETI himself. All the subjects that you know and love. Plus, we got the supplemental, also monumental and instrumental research material of the Grandmaster teachers. I give you an overview on all of that, giving you 360 degrees of African academic knowledge and wisdom that cannot be surpassed by any other website on the planet. I want you to get over there today, become a member. GeneralSeti.com, SETI University. And everybody knows SETI popping on Patreon. General Sarasun SETI popping on Patreon, dropping nuclear bombs on Patreon. We got over 500 live streams exclusive to Patreon, have never been seen on any other platform. You need to get over. You need to be able to dig your hands down in that treasure chest. You get an opportunity to see the general live, pulling that hot sauce out. That's what you want. That's what you get when you become a patron. So most definitely get over there and check that out. You want that. All the family that donate to the general, I thank you. I appreciate the fact that you appreciate me. Any of the family out there would like to donate, link right in the video description in the chat. Click that donate. I thank you ahead of time. Make sure you subscribe to all my YouTube channels, King SETI, General SETI, Sarasun SETI. Rock that notification bell. Get a video a thumbs up. Like it because you love it. Share with your family and friends. And comment, comment, comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will ban your ass. Now, United States and Egypt is sending a strong message, a warning to Ethiopia, because Ethiopia trying to make a move, on the Horn of Africa. And United States not liking that. They're not liking that at all. You see, and we're gonna talk about it. Nah, what's happening? Matter of fact, let me get my let me get that on out of here. Okay. Nah, that's his name. Abiy Ahmed. Yeah. Abiy Ahmed. Okay, now that's the prime minister of Ethiopia. Okay, now we just went over what's going on the Horn of Africa. You see, you got Yemen on the other side, being a menace to being a menace uh to all the shipping. You talking about $2.4 million worth of trade coming through there. Matter of fact, let me. Oh, here we go. You got $2.4 million worth of trade coming through. And so it's looking like they're gonna have to occupy Yemen. Okay. Now you may not have heard that from anybody else. You're hearing it from the general. So when the shit go down, you know that I told you. That's what's gonna have to happen. I'm on the outside looking in, and I'll look at it for what it's worth. And I see no better, than occupation. This is the world that you're living in. Okay, this is the world that you ain't got to have. You don't even have to have an opinion, nigga. You could just sit back and watch it happen. But with $2.4 trillion, and these Houthi rebels, all they had to do was send a goddamn $200 drone to knock out $200 million on a shipping vessel. It's best to just get them on up out of there. Fuck the yeah. It's one thing to have a defense system, but it's something different than just to get their ass up out of there. You know what I'm saying? And that seems like the better option. Overall, and sometimes occupation. People say how you can't stay there forever. But they was in goddamn Afghanistan for over 20 years. They was in goddamn Iraq for almost goddamn 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So they've been in goddamn Korea now for over 50, 60 years. You see? They've been in that motherfucker for a long time. So, as you can see, that certain areas on the globe, they need. And when you start talking about that South China Sea over there, that's why Japan, you see Korea, they have always maintained those positions, because if they didn't have those positions, China would have been pushed their ass out of the South China Sea. You see, but the fact that they still have bases and colonies in there that they can operate from, you see, they still maintaining they control over that area. Okay. And so now when you look at this area of the Arabian Sea, and you see that, the Yemen is shooting ships and shit like that. The best is no different than over in any other, is no different than Afghanistan, is no different than Iraq, is no different than Kuwait, is no different than any of that. You are occupying a land mass that is threatening, my control over the world. And and so do I expect Yemen to hold up against the United States? It's no way in hell that they could win. If they put full court pressure on their ass, they gonna bust. Now, a lot of them have heart, and I'm not saying it like I give them credit. I'm just saying they talk a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? They're just like them motherfuckers over there in Gaza. They ran up in Israel and they did what they did. I'm not taking no sides. Okay? I'm on the outside looking in. Nah, what I would say to Hamas, when they went in there and killed all them people, they should have knew goddamn well that Israel was going to retaliate with every fucking thing that they had. I mean, that's just common sense. And I don't see where the world and understandably, like I said, because I'm on the outside looking in, I don't give a fuck about none of the politics or none of that. I don't care. You see, because both of them are occupying armies. One just came in before the other. And so because he occupied it before, it still wasn't his. And so because he occupied it before him, he feels he has some rights. And he don't have none no more than the one that's in there now. That's the way I feel. That's why I don't say shit, because I understand that this is a war that's been going on for thousands of years. This is the continuation of the crusade. So you can't get feelings now and say, oh, they doing, goddamn it, you got to look at because the thing is, I noticed one thing about the Arabs. Even though they always relate to battles past, you see, they look at this as the continuation of the jihads. You understand? The holy wars and shit. They see it as the same continued. So they quote earlier battles and say, yeah, this battle in 700 AD and this. And so, yeah, they understand that this is a continuation. So for a lot of people to say, look at what Israel is doing to Gaza. But it wasn't long that the Ottoman Turks was doing that same shit to Constantinople. You see, when they conquered that and slaughtered all their ass up in there and took over that. You see, that used to belong to the Byzantine, but the Ottoman Turk, the Seljuk Turks came in there and they seized that. You see, then you got to talk about Saladin, and how he came in there and took Jerusalem and all of that. That's when, Saladin came in there and took it from the Christians. They was in control, I believe, of Palestine or Israel, whatever. They didn't even call it Israel at that time. I don't know what it called. I think it was just a goddamn no man's land. You see, but Saladin put the smash on their ass. You see, and once you understand that, okay, they understand well. If you come in at the end of the book having emotions and you don't understand that this is, vindication for, just like the Saladin looked at it as vindication, just like the Ottoman Turks looked at it as vindication when they slaughtered all them Christians over there. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, you got to understand that they understand that this is a world war that's been going on for a long time. And so you can't, you can't, expect that, they're going to let up on one another. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And so they understand that, and so understanding that, when you look at, again, we talking about Ethiopia now, what's happening is that there's an internal beef going on in Somalia. Okay, there's an internal beef going on in Somalia where you got, matter of fact, let me give you a better map. And you got Somaliland. You got Somalia and you got Somaliland. Now, I believe Somaliland is trying to break away from Somalia. That's really what it boils down to. Somaliland is trying, matter of fact, where's that biblical one? Let me see if I can get it better. Let me see if I can get a better map. It should have been right here. Because most maps, see, they don't even, a lot of maps don't even show Somaliland because, I don't know if they officially, I don't think they acknowledge Somaliland. You see, I don't believe they acknowledge Somaliland right now. But the thing is, Ethiopia is willing to acknowledge Somaliland, and that's where, because most maps, is showing Somalia. And so, you talking about the tip, up here somewhere, in Somaliland. They didn't try to, and Ethiopia is saying that it will acknowledge Somaliland, and in doing that, Ethiopia will gain access to have seaports, in Somaliland. Now you have to understand that during World War II and so on, and I believe it. I'm not sure if it was the British. I have to go back. But what they did is that, Eritrea and Djibouti used to be a part of Ethiopia. And so, how the Europeans is, they wanted that waterway. So they created Eritrea and Djibouti, giving them access to that, to be able to control that waterway. And what that did is that it then made Ethiopia a landlocked nation, not having access to the ocean. Okay. And so even back in the, in earlier times with the nation of Aksum, Aksum was so mighty because of the fact that, of his trade. Let me get the maps in there. Because of the trade of having access to the water. So Ethiopia see a way that it can have a presence, you feel me, on that on the waterway again, in that Gulf, and not just on the Gulf, but in world affairs. And so they're willing to accept Somaliland. Matter of fact, let me see if I can get yeah, let me see. Because I don't. Yeah, it's an unrecognized state. That's what they're saying. It's an unrecognized state. They're not accepting it. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can get it in here. Then you got Puntland, and you see, you got Puntland, and you got Somaliland. So I guess both of them is like, I guess, breakaway states from Somalia. Okay, and so I guess those are breakaway states from Somalia. And so what Ethiopia, and so I guess they're in a I'm not, I don't know, I don't think it's a war, but they are in dispute. I know it's a dispute. I had to get in there and see if they're actually at war. And what is happening in Somalia is like, you see me in conflict. This is my land, and that, and they are trying to break away. And so, Somalia does not recognize Somaliland or Puntland, either or. They don't recognize them. And so I don't know if it's a war going, or I don't believe it is, not to that extent. Let me see. I don't think it is. So I had to go into it. I had to go into it. So they almost, I mean, they're probably just very similar to Taiwan, where you got a breakaway province that, they still not being recognized as a nation. They're not being recognized as a nation at this time. Oh, we got a new member. Yep. Okay. Yep. And so, okay. Okay, Somaliland. Okay, let me put that up in there. Okay. So that's what it is. So what Somalia is saying is is they telling Ethiopia stay out of their business. You know, you're trying to undermine me. You know what I'm saying? While I'm trying to, you know, establish my name, you know, and bring the separatists back into the fold of the nation, y'all recognizing separatists inside of the house. And so United States, of course, and Egypt, of course, is they're back in Somalia. You know, and what I have to do is I had to get into this because I see what's happening. As you can see what's happening, I see it, you know, United States, because they figuring that Somaliland and the rest of them is going to be prone to side with Iran. That's really what it boiled down to. As I was looking into the war that was going on in Ethiopia, as I was looking into the war that was going on in Ethiopia, I noticed, Abiy Ahmed, that he was getting drones from Iran. That's true. He is getting armaments from Iran. I seen it myself. You see, and so they probably looking at Ahmed as he's in league with a possible affiliate, okay, you know, affiliate of Iran, and so they most definitely don't want his ass, you know. Yeah, he wild, But see, the thing is about Abiy Ahmed, he was at Davos. Yeah, he was at Davos. He was over there with old Carl Schwab. Yeah, he was over there with what's the other motherfucker name? George Soros. I got the pictures. He's in there meeting with George Soros. Yeah, he was over there with Carl Schwab. He's over there at Davos. So yeah, you know, you have to see what's going on. You know what, you know, his affiliation with Iran is, you know, that got to be brought up too. So, you know, we don't, you know, ain't no telling where his head is at. Okay, ain't no telling where his head is at. And like I say, I'm on the outside looking in. You know, I'm on the outside looking in. But if Abiy Ahmed thinking the West gonna let him, you understand what I'm saying? If they big and bad, then they might as well go on and take Eritrea and Djibouti, which is land that actually belonged to Ethiopia. You feel me? If you that big and bad, just go on and take your land back. And there it is. You know, there it is. But, and I understand because, you know, when you look at southern Ethiopia, that, you know, that whole area in the south is Muslim, okay? And so it's a state within Ethiopia called Somalia, and you cannot be confused. But that state is actually wants to be a part of Somalia. You see? And so, you know, you got to see the internal beef that's going on there, you know, with Ethiopia and Somalia. And, you know, but the United States don't care because Ethiopia has been, you know, shunning the United States, you know, and of course they should, you know, and they should, but that comes with pressure. Okay, whatever move that they intend to make, I'm not saying, you know, that don't mean, because I don't back Abiy Ahmed. What he did in Ethiopia, you know, I mean, to the extent of genocide that he committed over there, and nobody even really said anything about what went on in Ethiopia. You know, nobody even really spoke about what he was doing over there. He he killed a lot of people, to be in power. He killed a lot of people to be in power. He's no different. He's no goddamn different. And the atrocities that they talked about, that them damn soldiers was over there committing all type of atrocities on the people, violating and shit, and just shooting people outright. Yeah, we got to talk about that. But United States don't see any allegiance with Abiy Ahmed. And so, he got to feel confident that he could, put his presence there. And I doubt very seriously if they're going to let him have that. I doubt very seriously, just like they not going to allow the Yemenites. They're not going to allow some dusty ass Houthis to stop $2.4 million. Y'all could just forget about that. Okay? They're not going to let that happen. Just let that be known. Okay? And so so it's going to be a whole restructuring over there on that whole Horn of Africa. They're going to offer Somalia an offer that they can't refuse. They're going because they're already in there. What people don't understand, they are already in Somalia. The United States has already got bases in Somalia. And so they got them in Djibouti too. But we're going to see, but there's going to be some restructuring in that area. And we talking about immediate. They're not going to wait. They're not going to wait, because the longer they wait, the greater the possibility that they could lose far more, in the future. So it's not about continuing to lose. It's about, coming up with the answer that's going to stop what's happening. And so there's going to be a confrontation between Iran and the United States, one way or another. Yeah, one way or another. Yeah, they're going. Yeah, they you know what? But this is not to say, because, like I say, they in cahoots. A lot of them is in cahoots with the Arabs. If it's one thing if you was doing it, and if it was right, you just going to take Djibouti back and take and so so I don't know what his mind is telling him, but the West is not going to let him have that, and they're not going to let no separatists have that. They're going to arm Somalia. That's what they're going to do. They're going to arm them, and they're going to go up there, and they're going to take that. They're going to do Somalia just like they do Ukraine. They're going to make sure that they get what they need. They're going to make sure that they get what they need. And what's going to happen, that the United States going to sit out there in that waterway and make sure that don't nobody send nothing over there. That's just all it is to it. And if they can't get nothing in there, it's a wrap on their ass. Yeah, it's going to be a wrap on their ass. They're going which they already doing. They and what I'm seeing that they do have, and either, I don't know if they connect, and we'll come back tomorrow, but yeah, no different. They armed, they did, but they didn't have no agenda in United States didn't have no real agenda in Afghanistan. They just wanted to see the fall of Russia. You see what I'm saying? They just wanted to see the fall of Russia. They didn't want Russia to get, any stronghold over there. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, they did arm them. But at the end of the day, I didn't see them. They didn't, United States didn't set up over in Afghanistan after Osama won, shit, they went in another direction, but Somalia, is right there on the Horn of Africa, and they in the United States intend on maintaining control of that area into the goddamn fall of the United States. And so they're gonna have a more serious relationship with Somalia, and they're gonna arm them, and they probably gonna up what they giving them now. At this point with Ethiopia, he just don't know. He just don't know. With that, I'm gonna tell you as I move out of here, quietly, quietly, they gonna start moving in. Yeah, they're gonna start moving in. But in the meantime, they're gonna get control of that waterway. And the easiest way to control it is to occupy Yemen. They're gonna occupy Yemen. They're gonna get their ass out the way. It's gonna be a regime change. They don't mean they're gonna stay there, but they're gonna get a regime change. And if they get a regime change, they're gonna give them access to have bases all through there. You see what I'm saying? And they'll leave them to do, their Yemen thing. They'll let them do their Yemen thing. They'll let them practice their religion. They don't want to bother with that. They're gonna let them do that. But they're going to line that waterway around there with nothing but bases. And they're going to tell the rest of it, y'all live over here. Don't bring y'all ass over here. We'll let y'all come to the water. We'll leave a few spots where you can come visit the water and shit. But this, that, and the third. Stay the hell away from these bases. That's what they're going to do. And as far as Ethiopia thinking that, they're going to set up on, let them try. I'm not. But like I said, I don't like Abiy Ahmed for the fact of what he did to the peoples in T-Reg. You see what I'm saying? I was there in that area, and to see, that he would commit genocide on the people like that. That is very disturbing to me. That he is, and he's supposed, and this nigga Abiy Ahmed received the Nobel Peace Prize, and you would think he would have more diplomacy than committing genocide on that. And I seen 600,000. Where he killed over 600,000 and all the atrocities that were being talked about. So I'm not against I love Ethiopia, but at the same time, those who are in charge of Ethiopia, you know what I'm saying? They minds is like globalists. You know what I'm saying? They may not be in a line with the United States step for step, but they are globalists. You see what I'm saying? Nonetheless. And so they working for basically the same goals, just on, for, a more leftist agenda, a more communist type agenda. You see? And so, yeah, I don't have, all that killing of Ethiopians. I can't support that man at all. You know, yeah, yeah, he got a lot of blood on his hand. Well, it's gonna be damage any which way it go. You know, it's gonna be, this is the way of the world. You see, I'm not for one or the other. You see, but I tell you what, I don't see African interest for real on none of this shit. For none of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see no African interest for either, and when you talk about either side, I don't see no African interest at all. And so whichever one, I see a globalist. You know what I'm saying? If this motherfucker sitting down with Carl Schwab and goddamn George Soros, I already know he ain't got Africa in his motherfucking agenda at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, ain't no African. They need to kick all their ass in the ass. You see what I'm saying? His ass should be in world court for genocide, and United States should be kicked out of Africa. You understand what I'm saying? They should not be using Africa for their agenda, and the Arab got to go too. But that's not gonna happen immediately. So I tell you, more than likely what's gonna happen, and more than likely what's gonna happen is that United States and the West is gonna try to occupy Yemen. That's what I see. And they're gonna continue to support Somalia. They're gonna keep them. They believe me. They training them. They training them, and they not. It's not gonna be long. They're gonna ride on Somaliland. They're gonna bring that under control. They're gonna do that. And what they're gonna do. The United States is gonna sit them ships out there. So ain't no help coming. Yeah, ain't no help coming. Ain't no help coming. Ain't no help coming to them. So that's what they're gonna do. And you'll see. That's what they're gonna try to do, and we'll see what the outcome will be. And we'll watch the steps as they move. Is it a new world? Will it be a new power structure in control? As we move into 2024, will our other leagues of nations moving the United States and the West, out of the number one spot? We'll see. We'll see. We're on the outside. We the Africans. We rooting for Africa. That's all. But in the meantime, we have to study world military strategy so that we see what's happening. We make our our predictions based on sound strategy, and so to know how to respond to situations that we may very well end up in. You see, not to say, oh, we with one or the other, because they're gonna do whatever the fuck. You can say, you ain't got to say shit. You can just watch the news. They're gonna do whatever the fuck they want to. Anyway, so what we're doing is saying, okay, what is the move to be made for both sides? What strategy would you use if you was this side? What strategy would you use if you was the other side? Not for the sake of saying, oh, I'm with that, because you ain't with nobody, nigga, because ain't nobody with you, But I've noticed that a lot of time that a lot of peoples out there are emotional. They never make sound, sound predictions. And that showed me that, if you and yours are in, a situation, and these is the type of predictions you making, you not sound, nigga, even for your own family, nigga. You wouldn't make sound goddamn decisions. No, we ain't gonna be sad. We ain't gonna be sad, but we got to get our shit together. That's what we got to do. The only thing I'm sad about is that black people and African people are still not getting their shit together. That's what it boiled down to. It gives the appearance that we getting our shit together, but we still got a long way to go. And we still got a long way to go. And we'll get there. And I hope we get there sooner than later. All right, family. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. I got some, early. I got some things I want to talk about. This is General Sarah Soon said. He said, hey, Black Power family. Black Power. Arm yourself with knowledge. Hit some of them links and support the general. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beach daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black Power.